What's up, my man and Real Warriors? My name is David, and you're probably wondering, where have you been? Where has franchises been? What happened? We were in the season two, like week 3 or 4 of the Slow Sim League, and I have to be honest with you. In my personal life, it became a real strain. I was consumed. It took up so much time, and not just time, but focus from me, and I had to put it down because it was really putting a strain on my life. Like I said, so I slow. I quick sim the rest of the season, and we are in the playoffs. So we're gonna go through what happened in this video to all the teams, the stats, the standings, the MVP, all that stuff. We're gonna let you know where the league stands, and then we're gonna slow sim the playoffs into Madden 25. But I just want to let you know that going forward, I'm going to rethink how I work franchises and the franchise focus teams in Madden 25. But I definitely think that in the future, I take the summers off because it was not fair to myself, my family, or anybody else. So that's kind of what happened to the channel. I just couldn't keep up with it. It was just tremendously straining. So let's get into the video. All right, so now that we talked about where I've been, let's talk about what happened to all these teams that we were focusing on. The franchise focus teams, we will work our way back. We only had two teams that did not make the playoffs. And oddly enough, one of them was the team that was in the Super Bowl for us last year, the 2024 season. But they had a different quarterback, and things just did not go the way they wanted. I think one of the things that really hurt them was thinking that we got Michael Pittman in free agency going into the 2025 season, and realizing that we had to put him back on the Colts because he had signed a long-term extension to the Colts, putting the franchise tag on him, which as I said in previous videos, didn't realize that happened. So I really hate the Commanders' wide receiver core. Let's look at their stats. They are finishing, as you can see, with a 5-11-1 record. Yeah, top 5 pick. Just not a great finish here. Jaden Daniels, 3,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. They just couldn't get him fixed. Brian Robinson, Jaden Daniels, Rick Lowry, just not great numbers from any of these guys. Rick Lowry got hurt. Not even 1,000-yard wide receiver. They started off in the Colts playbook, and in the slow sim, Colts playbook just sucked, right? And then McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, just nobody played well in the quick sim. They eventually were put in the Bills, and there was some progress. They had some games where they looked really good, and then other games where they were just terrible. Defensively, horse shit. Just a bad franchise all around. Finished 21st offensively. Defensive yards, 12th. Not bad. Points scored, 31st. Yeah, they really struggled to score points. And of course, they allowed more points than they scored. So that wasn't good for them. Just not a great season. Not a great season whatsoever. What else can I say? We'll keep it moving to the other teams. But yeah, that was an unfortunate one. I thought we built a better team. If you want to take a quick look at the team, McLaurin was up to an 86 superstar. McLaurin. Jaden Daniels up to an 86 overall superstar. Brian Robinson 87. The rookie, big and fast, just didn't play well in quick sim. I think he would have played better in slow sim. Crap. Jahan Dotson never developed at all in the 2 years. Ben Sinnott, just didn't do well. The offensive line wasn't something I was very happy with or how it turned out. Like the left side wasn't great. They switched to a 3-4 to get Newton, Allen, and Payne on the field. It might have been better, like looking back, because this is what I think Commanders' real plan is they're not going to pay Jonathan Allen $17 million this year. He's going to be cut before this 2025 season. Like, we should have kept 4-3, Newton and Payne on the field, and then spent that money elsewhere. Reddick, Jamin Davis, Glenn Farrell, the rookie they took in the end of the first round, Mac Peck. I mean, he would have been better in a 4-3 for sure. You know, Sanistril, the corners are kind of mid. Just a lot of 80s all around. You know, they got speed, but just not great. Jeremy Chinn got himself up to a superstar, and they finished with some injuries too. That's what happens when you have a bad record, especially in the quick sim. So that's the Commanders. Now let's go to our second worst team. All right, so let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Our second worst team. It's actually a team that finished, I believe, on a 3-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken, or close to it. They got a weekly award. Well, they are improved record-wise. They had the second overall pick going into this season, and now they only have the 10th overall pick. We can look at their schedule real quick. Whoops, we don't want to show you that. Team schedule, there we go. It always switches on me. Regular season. Yeah, 3 straight losses. 3 straight wins. 3 straight losses. A win. 3 straight losses. 4 straight losses. And then finish on a streak. I mean, they were in one of the best playbooks offensively in the game. And just couldn't get them to play right. Trying to set the depth chart to where it would work. And it just wasn't great. I guess Bryce Young's numbers weren't terrible, but being in the best offensive playbook should have been better. Jonathan Brooks was awesome, 1,300 yards with 15 touchdowns. That's really good. Bryce putting another 300 on the ground and 4 touchdowns. So I guess when you consider add his numbers up together, that's pretty good. You know, yep. As good as Mingo and Marshall played in the slow sim in a different playbook, they just did not play well in the quick sim. And Baguette couldn't get him going. I think Sanders should have had a better year. I think at least 3 of these guys should have pushed 1,000 yards, but it just didn't happen. Offensively, Javon Holland, Blankenship, some of our better guys. I mean, the rookie led us in sacks, but quick sim, everything's kind of, dumbed down a little bit. Offensively, I mean, 28th yards, 22nd yards defensively, points-wise, mid-pack. I guess that's not bad for points when the yards are some of the worst, but the playbook they were in, couldn't get Bryce Young's throwing motion to where he was successful. All the edits, I couldn't do it, and I feel like the Panthers, with another top 5 pick, another offseason, would definitely have a chance of really making the playoffs if we had another season, but just wasn't meant to be. And I actually think they have a better chance in real life of going at 7-10 this year. If they were smart, they wouldn't, because they are very, needy team of building. So in real life, going to next draft, it would really help if they had the number 2 pick, but that would really put them in an awkward position, because what do you do with Bryce Young if you're getting another number 2 overall pick and you're probably facing a quarterback being there, and you got Bryce Young, yeah, whatever. That would just be wild. Um, yeah, but I guess Bryce Young ain't it. Yeah, I think his throw power got up to 90. He just couldn't get him to work. So that's the Panthers, and let's move to the playoff teams. Well, here we have the New England Patriots. They snuck into the playoffs, winning, I believe, 3 of the last 3 games, and they got the wild card. They've been like a 9-8 team both years, I believe, and this year they made the playoffs. Dolphins really fell off. They were in cap hell. The Bills had great success in the slow sim. Even the Jets were decent. It was a pretty decent division, but hey, man, New England snuck in there at the very end. Didn't see it coming. I thought they were a much better team than given, record-wise, given credit for. Not just 500 the whole way, pretty much. Never really, I think, went below 2 games under 500. But yeah, came out of the bye, lost to our Bengals. Nice, easy schedule here. Falcons were one of the best teams in the NFC, but they laid down like dogs in Week 18 because that meant nothing to them, and they got shellacked. So good for the Patriots. Let's look at their stats. They were in Miami's playbook, and then it just wasn't working out so well, so they got put into the Rams. And Drake May, I look, this is my first time looking at these numbers. I didn't realize how well he did. 4,200 yards passing, 33 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Ramondre, 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Polk with almost 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. Javon Baker, 800 yards, 9. Jaheim Bell and Mike Williams. Ramondre, they put up some numbers, man. Didn't match their record, but maybe defensively they got let down a little bit. Tyreek and Marquise Bell both with 5 interceptions. Okay. Defensively, yardage-wise, they were 13th in the NFL, 15th defensively. Let's see where the points are at here. Only 14th points scored. Thought they'd have more than that. Points allowed, 3rd. Okay. They're coming in the playoffs hot, man. You got to watch out, Bills. They know your shit. And that's crazy. Roster-wise. How did these guys end up here? Drake May, 92 overall superstar. Ramondre's 80 overall card. Mike Williams, he don't even start because we want Baker and Polk starting. And Mario Douglas, unfortunately these guys are. Can we get the boost? Can we get a boost here to their confidence? They just made the playoffs, winning 3 in a row. Come on, guys, don't do this. Don't you dare do this. And that secondary is just nasty. Love it. I'm making a prediction. Taron Johnson's going to seal it for the Patriots against his former team. Let's go. All right, so that's the Bills. That is the Patriots against the Bills coming up. That's their story. That's how they got here. All right, so here we are with the Chargers. They were our second to last team to make it into the playoffs. They won the division at 11-6. The Chiefs really had just a bad year. They were in cap hell. They lost people. The playbook and Patrick Mahomes could only do so much in the quick sim. I thought the Chargers would even do better, but this is the way life goes. You can't be the number 1 seed every year, and they went backwards a little bit, but they still won the division. They're still in the playoffs. They have a worse record than Cincinnati, but they get to host the game, so good for them. Going to check their schedule. Started off really, really good for them, and then just faded down the end here. Finished strong. That middle of the season here, where they had a bunch of losses, kind of hurt overall wise. They did finish with wins at the end of the season, but with the playbook they're in and the team they have, you expect them to be the number one seed, and they just didn't get it. Still, it's okay. It's not that upsetting. Justin Herbert, 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions in the LA Chargers playbook. Trayvon Henderson, almost 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Joshua Palmer and Luke Lachey, I think that's how say his name. 1,000-yard wide receivers. McConkey not far behind. Quentin Johnson. Joshua Palmer had a great year. McConkey, I'll take that. Lachey, it's great. Defensively, with James Collison, who went up in development throughout the year. No double-digit sack leaders. So James, Gilmore, all these veterans coming here to try to win a championship. Offensively, 9th overall in yards. Yeah, they had a really tough year defensively. I couldn't find a good playbook for them to really be in points scored. They're 12th. 19th overall in points allowed. So there you go. That's the Chargers. They have a tough home. They're home, but they have a tough task against our Cincinnati Bengals. Do we look at the roster here? Let's look at the roster. 99 overall. Herbert, Henderson, up to an 87. I mean, they got some nice backups here. Horvath up to 70. Palmer, superstar, 88. McConkey, 86. Quentin Johnson, 84. Brandon Rice don't even see the field. He's an 81. Lachey starts over Disley. They got really good bookend on their offensive line and in the middle. Sawyer is really the weak link, but Joe Alt's a monster. DeMarcus Lawrence is here. Veteran coming in with Bosa. Armstead, the rookie from the first round, Terrence Goodwin, or was it the second round? Gabe Foreman was another guy they drafted. Collison from the year before. Free agent Spillane. Asante Samuel Jr. Gilmore came over on a in free agency 1-year deal. Christian Fulton, Marshall, JT Woods, Derwin James, and then Jamal Adams coming here. We got some ring chasers. So team is this could go either way. This game, but I can't wait to see it. But we're gonna talk about the Eagles. They are not a franchise folks team, but I did control them this year because I'm an Eagles fan, and them getting the 3rd overall pick or 2nd overall pick. It was 3rd overall pick this past season. They had a really bad year in the slow sim. Plus, they're in a new scheme. They're in Chargers playbook. I thought they would do way better than this, but I guess they had some limitations. Look at the schedule. I mean, they have the absolute best offensive rating there is. They started off phenomenal and did not finish so strong. Typical Eagles. being one of the best teams in the NFL and then faltering down the stretch. I mean, 11-6 is still pretty good. Stats was 4,100 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions for Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley had 24 rushing touchdowns. Spoiler alert, he was the offensive player of the year and the best running back, and that is incredible. Sadly, though, he will not be in the playoffs. He got hurt. Unbelievable. Insane. No rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. Why would you do that when Saquon Barkley can just score 24 touchdowns in a season? A.J. Brown with 1,100 yards. Goddard 900. Devonta Smith. The rookie 600 yards for Shaquille Pierman. 6'5", 221. Superstar development. I think he's an X Factor actually. And then Saquon Barkley, another 400 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. What? And 27 touchdowns total at 29 years old, I believe. Darius Slay, win one for the Gipper. They think this is going to be his last season, and he finished as one of the. I think he was the best corner secondary guy. I mean, just unbelievable. Jeremiah Trotter had a nice season, and he's not even the starter. It's Devin White. He still had 93 tackles. They're in a 3-4. That's what their coach is probably going to run. But every team runs something hybrid. 4th overall offensive yards, 13th overall defensive yards, number 1 in points scored. Of course, when you have running back do that, and 7th points allowed. So statistically, one of the best teams overall wise. The best team on offense and one of the best defenses. I don't think any other teams at 92 overall. Maybe the Bears. They won the division. Just insane what they did in the quick sim, especially Barkley. 99 overall for Hurts. 99 overall for Barkley. Shipley got up to an 83. A.J. Brown's 99. Devonta Smith is 92. Pierman is 83. A rookie, Dwayne Lowe's 73. Now, why do they seem like they're missing a wide receiver? It's because Johnny Wilson kind of fell into that role there. You know, they got Eurosec, Dallas Goedert, 90. They have an amazing offensive line. Everyone's over 80. Mekhi Becton, he also got hurt twice at the end of the season. So that hurt them. He's back for the playoffs, I believe. So watch out for the Eagles in the playoffs. Like I said, they're running a 3-4 on defense. Now, Quinyon Mitchell's up to an 88 overall. 91 overall for CJ GJ. Cooper DeJean's a 92 overall. Sidney Brown is an 82, but he's out for the playoffs. So those are the Birds, my Philly Birds. The LA Rams play really great in the quick sim, and they have a really good defense, as you can see. So don't sleep on them. But come on, let's go Birds. The Tennessee Titans have made the playoffs, and they started off really terrible. They were playing like garbage when the first 3 or 4 games of this season were slow sim. And then we went to a hybrid quick sim style because they're in the spread playbook. So you can't quick sim, you've seen this before. You can't quick sim the spread playbook. You have to actually start the game and then, hit end, simulate quickly to end game. And in that process, they absolutely just took the world by storm. So let's go over how their schedule played out. They lost the first 3 games. And then we went to the quick sim. And they rattled off a bunch of wins. and they finished. They even lost the last 2 games. Like this stretch right here was incredible. Really played well. I mean, they shut out a team. They held a team to 3 points. They really went on a tear. It was just incredible what they did. And the spread offensive playbook, stats wise, Justin Fields, 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Not bad. 71% completions. We went over 2,000 yards rushing, 18 rushing touchdowns combined. That's really good. Pollard had a great year, 1,500 yards rushing. Higgins, 1,000 yards. Ridley, 900. Okonkwo, Burks, 600. So really good year offensively. They have a pretty high overall. Jeffrey Simmons, Sweat, sacks coming from the interior. The interior of our defensive line is great. It's Harold Landry was hurt for a time. Arden Key's slow. They need pass rushers going forward for sure. But that won't happen in this rebuild. 11th overall offensively, number 1 yards allowed defensively, number 2 points allowed on defense. So their defense really stepped it up. Just didn't have the sack numbers really, but their defensive line played so good. That interior, they made the right choice with who they kept on the defense. Let's look at the roster. I mean, just awesome. 90 overall, X Factor, Justin Fields. 94 overall, superstar for Pollard. Tajay Spears is up to 90. They don't even use him. He's just pretty much the second tight end. Kuschek. T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Burks. He's not really great. They got these guys off the undrafted free agent scrap heap. They're really interesting players that they ever got to play. Chig never really developed like I thought he would, but they have a great offensive line, and in real life they have one of the best offensive line coaches there is, so that was factored in. The rookie they drafted up to 78. Arden Key sucks, and he's out. Harold Landry, Jeffrey Simmons, and Sweat, and Barber. This great defensive interior defensive line. Murray Jr. Great secondary. This was their first round pick. Jared Good. I think he's a star up to 79. Amani Hooker and James Williams. I believe he will be in the draft in 2025. Interesting guy there. Kind of a hybrid linebacker, safety. I guess they think he is, but he's 6'5". It's insane. All right, well, that is the Titans, and they have a tough division matchup in the first round of the playoffs against the Houston Texans, who rebounded from the year before and made the playoffs, but still underperformed because their playbook is kind of poopy. All right, let's talk about the Bengals. As you've seen already, that from looking at the LA Chargers, they are playing the Chargers in the first round of the playoffs. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they did not get the tiebreaker over the Ravens to win the division. I think it'd be a lock for Cincinnati to win this matchup at home in the slow sim, but that didn't happen. One of the best teams, but they lost the last 2. The Browns are Joe Burrow's kryptonite. They weren't even that good this year, and they lost that. And then the Dolphins, tough team, still fighting to the end. They had a 49-0 win. Yeah, I mean, they just needed one more win at the end here to lock up a home game, and that didn't happen. So, but they still had a great year, 12-5, stats wise. Joey B, third in the NFL with 4,700 yards passing, 48 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Spoiler alert, he probably is the MVP. Nick Chubb, who they picked up, and like in free agency, like a Saquon thing. Although the Browns couldn't resign him because they were in cap problems. He had 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, but he is out for the playoffs. It's not Saquon. Is Saquon hurt? I can't remember. One of these guys hurt. I believe it's Saquon. It's either Saquon or Chubb. It's definitely Chubb. I don't know if Saquon's out too. I'm sorry. But we have our first team of 3 1,000-yard wide receivers. They were in the Cowboys playbook. The Cowboys playbook was nerfed, but it's still great. And when you put these 3 guys together, you have Jamar Chase, Jermaine Burton, who's a superstar and fast, Matt Kyle, who they took at the end of the second round. He's only a 70-something. He was like a 65 or 67, but he was a superstar, X Factor, hidden development, super low, but he was 99 speed. You got these 3 guys, plus Gesicki. This is insane. There's no reason to throw to Chubb and Chase Brown was, I believe, the receiving back anyway. I mean, awesome. And Jermaine Burton had like 10 touchdowns by the midway of the season and like 6 by week 3. Like, he was unbelievable start. What a year. Insane. Trey Hendrickson, best defensive lineman. Barrett Carter, I mean, couldn't put up the numbers like he did his rookie year, but still a great year. Logan Wilson with 5 interceptions. They got speed on defense everywhere. This is just a great team. Offensive yards, they're first in the AFC. Defensive yards, they're 10th. Points-wise, they're second. Points allowed, they're 10th. This is a great team. Let's look at the roster. Joey B, the MVP, 99 overall. Yeah, Chubb's out, 93 overall. Let's take a look at the Eagles real quick. No, Barkley's not out. Oh, great. Whew. Got my superstar, amazing running backs mixed up for a second. That's unfortunate. But Chase Brown, I think, in the quick sim, should do well. Not in the quick sim, in the slow sim. I don't know, but overall, it doesn't really matter as much in slow sim, in my opinion. Chase, 98 overall. Jermaine Burton, 84 overall. Matt Kyle, almost 10 points higher, 74 overall. And, Cornelius Johnson to be on the Chargers, but we couldn't make it work with the salary. It's unfortunate, but I believe he's better than that in real life. Gesicki, Gadsden, Jeff Miller, decent tight end core. Trent Brown's here. Mims, great player. Connor Williams came over here. Kappa, Orlando Brown. Their defensive line is amazeballs because you got Miles Murphy's a superstar. Trey Hendrickson's probably going to go up in development to a superstar now. Chris Jenkins, Sebastian Joseph Day, sub-line. Trey Hendrickson will play a lot of defensive line interior because of you bring Barrett Carter into a sub-rush spot. They can get sacks, man. They got speed on defense, at corner, linebacker, safety. Geno Stone's a boost for them. Actually, their safeties are probably slower than some of their linebackers. But just a great team. Phenomenal. And they're just in an amazing playbook. The only thing I'll say about the offensive playbook they're in is the Cowboys always choke in the playoffs, even in Madden. So who the freak knows? But don't forget about the Cowboys playbook, whether it's quick sim or slow sim, because it's still very much alive. It's nerfed. I mean, it's one of the best. They have the best offense, and the playbook was nerfed. Crazy. All right, we got two more teams to get to. Let's get to them. All right, so we are at probably our best overall team that we've put together. 91 overall on offense, 91 overall on defense. I think they're the highest rated defense. 91 overall team, they're right behind the Eagles. But as far as franchise focused teams, the Chicago Bears, this is Caleb Williams' second year, and this is like when you see that rookie quarterback go into their second season start, like they're just some. That's when they're supposed to put it all together and win that Super Bowl. We saw that with like Carson Wentz. We saw that with Russell Wilson in his second year. Like that second year quarterback thing is a thing. I mean, yeah. So the second full year, because Patrick Mahomes' first year, he hardly ever played, like nothing. He's had his whole first year, and then his third year, but his second starting year is when he went to the Super Bowl and won it. Like, this is the year for the Bears. And amazingly enough, they don't have the number 1 overall seed, but they had a great year. Started off with a loss to the Cowboys at the Cowboys, and then they start doing their thing here. Finished 3 in a row. They're coming in hot. That's what you want to see coming into the playoffs. Good for them. Let's look at the stats. They were in the Chiefs' offensive playbook. Stats and awards. So number 2 passing numbers. Caleb Williams, 5,100 yards, 46 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. What a year for him. Rushing wise, Swift, who got hurt, 778 yards, 10 touchdowns. Caleb Williams even added 276 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet, oh, what a year for Cole Kmet. Doing the Kelsey thing. DJ Moore with 1,200 yards, almost 10 yards away from 1,300, 16 touchdowns. He was in the slot. He was a starter, but he was also put in the slot. Mari Cooper. So they almost had 4 1,000-yard wide receivers. Swift with another 324 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's not a rushing playbook. This is a passing playbook, and it came through. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think is how you say it. JOK. What a year for him. Tackle-wise, Montez Sweat with 13.5. Jalen Johnson with 5 interceptions. Kevin Byard with 4. Eric Stevenson with 3. So, what a year. Offensive yards, 2nd overall. Defensively, thought they would be better, but sometimes when you score a lot of points, you give up a lot of yards, a lot of opportunities for the other teams. 3rd in points scored, 9th in points allowed. So, they got better in the red zone, at least stopping teams from scoring. Look at the roster. Caleb Williams, a 99 overall superstar X Factor. DeAndre Swift, superstar, 93 overall, Blossom Game. DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, superstar. Romo Dunes is an X Factor. Tyler Scott, Arthur Bowles, a rookie they drafted, who looks like a really good player but doesn't get on the field. Cole Kmet, 91 overall superstar. The year he had, their offensive line's pretty solid. Braxton Jones, Kevin Jenkins. The weakest link is Ryan Bates at 78. The rookie from last year, Kyron, Darnell Wright. They got great offensive line. Montez Sweat, Josh Sweat, the Sweat brothers. They signed Alan McNeil in free agency this year. Jalen Gaffney, the rookie this year, was a hidden development defensive lineman. TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. They brought in JOK in free agency because the Browns couldn't sign him, so they have great linebacking core. I mean, their secondary is really good. Even the guy they drafted, Darren Bernard, you can get him on the field. He's 6'3", 185, and he's got 92 speed and 90 acceleration. That guy's young and great. Kevin Byard, 32 years old, but he's still a superstar, 92 overall. Jaquan Brisker, superstar, 91 overall. They have a great team. They are built to win this year. But the amazing thing is they're not even our best team. They're not our best team. So that's crazy. Let's talk about the best team we have going for us going into the 2025 playoffs. The best team in the NFL in the 2025 season is the Arizona Cardinals at 14-3. Now, we also need to talk about how that was amazing because Kyler Murray got hurt this season and Clayton Tune had to fill in for them. So let's talk about their schedule. I can't remember. I have it written down here. Bear with me. Which week was it? I have it written down here. They had the worst No, that's the Chargers. They lost Kyler Murray for 6 weeks in week 5. And then we made a playbook change because Clayton Tune is slower than Kyler Murray. Took him out of the Ravens offense and put him in the Chargers offense. You can criticize me for that all you want, but that's the offense I put him in because they have a great wide receiving core. Why did I go backwards here? So that is a humongous storyline in here. So let's take a look at the schedule and what they did. So it was week 5 that Kyler got hurt. We lost them against Cincinnati. They lost their first game with Clayton Tune and then went to the bye. And then they never lost a game after the bye. Whether Clayton Tune was starting or not, they never lost a game. They are on a roll. They are hot. They are that team. Dude, Clayton Tune, Kyler Murray, it don't matter. They can score. They can play defense. They just have something about this team. They have charisma. They have just spontaneity. They got that it factor about them. We even saw it last year. Last season they did great. Let's talk about the stats. So, combined Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune, what's that? 3,500 yards, 3,600 yards passing, 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. You know, pretty good numbers here for Clayton Tune. He did what he had to do. Trey Benson, 1,400 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. Kyler Murray still put up 600 yards rushing and 8 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Wright, a backup here, couldn't put him on Miami because they had cap hell, but he had 5 rushing touchdowns. Marvin Harrison, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. Michael Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, who got hurt for like 4 games. McBride had a down season, which is crazy. Defensively, Owen Popo and Mondon are great linebackers. They're now in a 4-3 defense. I mean, great. Offensive yards wise, I guess because Clayton Tune started. They were 12th, but defensively, 3rd overall. I think that helps when you have a rushing playbook, for sure. Yardage wise, defensively, they are top 5, top 10, pretty much everything. So awesome. I love that storyline of Clayton Tune starting for all those games, and still they have the number 1 overall record in seed. Look at the roster. Kyler Murray's up to 94 overall with the boost, superstar. Trey Benson's a 93, but he's not anything but a star. Reggie Gilliam. They brought in Brandon Ayuk, that he left for a division opponent. And they made a big signing to go with Marvin Harrison. Michael Wilson's up to an 85. Tajuan Palmer is up to an 80. Will Shepard, they love their 6'3", they want their wide receivers blocking, I think. But Trey McBride's a down year, but he's still a 90 overall superstar. Their offensive line's pretty dang good. Gordon Isaac Salmao. He doesn't start, though, because it's Barry Alexander who's been playing left guard, with Ted Karras now up to an 81 playing center. Will Hernandez. They brought in Spencer Brown for the right tackle spot. BJ Ojolari is a superstar. Zavon Collins is an X factor. They have DJ Reader they brought in. Darius Robinson, the second first-round pick from the 2024 draft, is a superstar, 86 overall. Kaiser White's fast. Mondon starts. Chris Barnes, he's decent. Owen Bapo's insanely fast. I mean, he could probably even play safety at some point. They brought in Awuzie in free agency. Sean Murphy-Bunting, Max Melton, great player. Garrett Williams got a boost. Catrell Clark's getting a boost. Jalen Thompson, this freaking team is awesome. So fun. And like I said, I can't stop saying Clayton Tune. They had to play Clayton Tune. They still got the number 1 overall seed. And the Rams had a great year. So, that's a look at all of our teams. Let's take an overview, look at stats, the playoff bracket, the awards, and then, I'm actually hopefully I said this in the beginning of the video, I'm going to slow sim this season when I come back from vacation, and then Madden 25 will be here. So, thank you for sticking with me. And now, let's look at the playoffs and the overall stats. All right, let's look at the playoff bracket here. We kind of have an understanding of it already. Our first Super Bowl we had, we started franchises in the playoffs, and the Ravens won that, and then they missed the playoffs last year or the entire season. Slow sim because Lamar got hurt, and they faded down the stretch. But they are the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. The Bills and the Patriots face off. Titans and the Texans play each other in the first round, and then 2 franchise-focused teams will knock one of each other out in the first round, the Bengals and the Chargers. So we have 4 teams from this side playing in the playoffs, which is awesome. 4 franchise-focused teams. That's really awesome. But just one team that didn't make it from the AFC side, right? Sorry, got to go through my notes. No, it was two NFC teams. I'm dumb. And then you have the number 1 overall seed Cardinals here. The Bears are number 2, playing a division opponent, Vikings. The Cowboys are in it, and they play a great team here, especially offensively. The Falcons, Michael Penix Jr. starting after Kirk Cousins retired. And then you have not a franchise-focused team, but the Eagles were a team I controlled, and they are home against the Rams. So, only 2 teams that are franchise-focused teams made it from the NFC side, and you can give it 2.5 because I focused on the Eagles this year as an extra team. So that's the look at the playoffs. Tell me right now, who's winning these matchups? Tell me each matchup you want to focus on, who you think's going to win, and who's winning the whole thing. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl, and who's going to win it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is fun. Let's go look at the stats. These menus take forever. Stats and awards. Look at it from an overview of everybody. Caleb Williams, number 1 overall in passing yards, followed by Mahomes, Burrow, J.J. McCarthy. Wow, good for him. Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Drake May, Jalen Hurts. So a lot of yards here. Burrow led the league with 48 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Caleb Williams not far behind him. Mahomes, J.J. McCarthy, what a year. Jalen Hurts, Allen, May. These some great years here, guys. Bernard Perkins, the rookie. Okay. Well, Aaron Rodgers didn't suck as bad in the quick sim as he did in the slow sim last year. Josh Jacobs, 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns. Yo, that's crazy. Of course, Saquon Barkley with his 24 touchdowns. Pollard, Najee Harris, Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, great year. Pacheco with 14 touchdowns. Ramondre. That's fun. Cole Kmet, the leader in receptions, followed by CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson. Holy shit, look at that. They got the 2 100-yard plus reception, or 2 100 reception wide receivers on the same team. CeeDee Lamb led in yards, followed by Kmet. What a year for Kmet. Yeah, Coleman, Gabe Davis, Polk, and Darius Slayton had 1,200 yards. Damn, that Vikings playbook. Shoo. Killing it in the quick sim. DJ Moore, leader in touchdowns for wide receivers. That's awesome. Solo tackle leader, Devin Bush. When you're on a bad team, I think you can tend to lead in tackles. But Quay Walker is always up there. Jordan Brooks, Poe, Drew Tranquil is always up there. Matt Milano. Overall wise, Devin Bush, Poe, Quay Walker, Tranquil, Milano, Gibbons. Sack, Micah Parsons with 18. The rookie Ben Larkin, part of the success of the Vikings this year. Aiden Hutchinson, Trey Hendrickson. So in slow sim compared to quick sim, sacks are way up, but different beast. Darius Slay. Interceptions are more in line too. Dre Greenlaw had a really good year. He got himself up to an X Factor, I believe, with getting player of the week like 3 times in 4 weeks. How about kick return? We got here, who had the most yards? MJ Devonshire. Punt return yards. Kevin Walters. Tyreek Hill. All right, well, that is stats for the players. Look at total offense. Bengals number 1, Bears, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Jaguars, Vikings, Cowboys. The worst offense, the Lions. They just sucked this entire rebuild. Even in quick sim, they were not good. They just playbook hell. They had too good an offense to be the worst offense. Passing wise, the Bears were the best in total passing. Falcons were the worst, but they were probably one of the best. How did the Falcons do it? I know they're in the Ravens playbook, but that's crazy. Best rushing team. Same playbooks for sure, but not the entire season. Titans, the worst rushing team. The Lions, who should have been the best. Okay, I mean, I understand the Bears being the second worst because they're in a passing playbook. Eagles were number 1 in points, followed by the Bengals, Bears, Chiefs, Ravens, Cardinals, Jags. Jags, statistically pretty good on offense, just didn't get it done. The worst, the Browns, Steelers, Commanders, Raiders, Lions, Saints. Most passing touchdowns, Bengals, Bears, Chiefs, Vikings, Eagles. Most rushing touchdowns, the Cardinals, followed by the Eagles, where most of it was done by Saquon Barkley. Falcons, Ravens, Packers had a great rushing year. Most first downs, 333 to the Bengals, followed by the Eagles, Chargers, Bills, Chiefs. Defensively, the best defense was the Titans, followed by the Rams, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Giants, really good defensive playbook, Falcons, doing well in that Ravens 3-4 playbook, Raiders. The worst defense was the Lions, so you're not going to rush the ball very well when you can't play defense. They have a terrible defensive playbook. Browns, and they just didn't have a good overall compared to other teams. Chargers. Titans gave up the least amount of passing yards. Bills, Buccaneers, Giants, Cardinals. The most given up by the Chargers. We saw this last year going to the playoffs where the Super Bowl winner of the Dolphins had one of the worst defenses and they played so good in the playoffs. Could the Chargers have a Miami running them? You got the Eagles looking like that too. Best rush defense, the Rams, Raiders, Eagles, Titans, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Bengals, Packers, Falcons, all pretty much playoff teams. The worst rush defense, Saints, Steelers, Seahawks, Chiefs, Colts. None of these teams are in the playoffs. Points allowed, the Rams give up the least, followed by the Titans, the Patriots, the Cardinals, 49ers, Bills, Falcons. The most points given up, insane, was the Browns, Seahawks, Steelers, Saints, Packers. They somehow made the playoffs. Most sacks, Rams, Bengals, Bills, Raiders, Texans, least amount of sacks, 14. Jesus, that's terrible. Eagles caused the most fumbles, most interceptions. The 49ers, wow. All right, well, I think that's a look at everything. Should we look at the awards? Do we have time here? Burrow's probably going to be the MVP over Mahomes and Caleb Williams. Andy Taters get number 1 coaching spot. Lamar Jackson, Offensive Player of the Year over Burrow. Max Crosby, defense. Matt Kyle got Offensive Rookie. That's awesome. How's Javon Baker on here? Oh, I put him on a rookie. Oh, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Devontae Northrup. I don't know who that is, but he was Defensive Rookie. Burrow, Best QB. Jonathan Taylor. Joshua Palmer, Best Wide Receiver. Trey Smith, Best Offensive Lineman. Trey Hendrickson, Best Defensive Lineman. Max Crosby, Best Linebacker. Jalen Ramsey, Best Corner, DB. Badgley, Best Kicker. Saquon, he's Offensive Player of the Year. Michael Parsons. Shaquille Pearman, Offensive Rookie. Ben Larkin got it over the best player in the draft this year, Anthony Childress. Caleb Williams, Best Quarterback. Saquon Barkley, Best Running Back. CeeDee Lamb, Best online, Zach Martin. Tate Karras right there. Michael Parsons. Trey Greenlaw. Darius Slay. And then, I don't know who that is, but he won Kicker of the Year. Alright guys, next time you see me, we'll be doing quick sim of the playoffs. See you in about a week. thank you for sticking around. All right, I can't wait to get these playoffs in and get us right up to the Madden 25. All right, see you later.